Well, consistency is not exactly Donald Trump's thing. And so Donald Trump has more than one way of expressing how, say, terrified he is. He might fly into obsessive, relentless social media postings about the thing he's terrified about. Sometimes he'll do it about the thing he's terrified about, and sometimes not. Sometimes about, like, anything else, which is kind of what he's been doing. And the other way Donald Trump communicates his fear is silence, which is also what he's been doing. That's how Donald Trump treats the things he's most afraid of, in my observation. And so, judging by his silence, Donald Trump is living in abject terror tonight of the Epstein files. Donald Trump spent the day in silence today about the Epstein files. The man who loves to have the cameras aimed at him while he plays with questions from reporters without ever actually answering them, didn't dare allow reporters to get anywhere near him today at the White House. Donald Trump said nothing on social media today about the Epstein files. Nothing about the person who for 15 years Donald Trump called a terrific guy, while the person Donald Trump thought was a terrific guy was raping children. The last time Donald Trump said anything about his now dead friend Jeffrey Epstein was on Saturday at 9:13 a.m. when he said nothing will be good enough. Donald Trump said, "I have asked the Justice Department to release all grand jury testimony with respect to Jeffrey Epstein, subject only to court approval. With that being said, and even if the court gave its full and unwavering approval, nothing will be good enough. For the troublemakers and radical left lunatics making the request, it will always be more. One of those radical left lunatics, I guess, is Marjorie Taylor Greene, according to Donald Trump's description. She's always been called a radical lunatic, but she is a Republican member of Congress who's always supported Donald Trump and built her short political career on supporting Donald Trump. Today, Marjorie Taylor Greene tweeted,
"If you've watched the video up to this point, then this channel and this video are for you. To continue, please take a minute to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I would be very happy if you did."
If you tell the base of people who support you of deep state treasonous crimes, election interference, blackmail, and rich, powerful, elite, evil cabals, then you must take down every enemy of the people. If not, the base will turn and there's no going back. Dangling bits of red meat no longer satisfies. They want the whole steak dinner and will accept nothing else. Marjorie Taylor Greene is making it very clear what would be good enough for her. She wants the entirety of the Epstein files released, not just the grand jury transcripts, which would be the least informative part of the Trump Justice Department's criminal investigative file on Jeffrey Epstein. While some Trump supporters who were complaining about Donald Trump's refusal to release the Epstein files last week are now going quiet, Marjorie Taylor Greene hasn't given up yet. She said this tonight at 7:06 p.m.
I believe in transparency, and I believe the American people. This is a serious issue. I can tell you for the past, more than a week, the highest volume of calls into my office have been about Epstein. People want the information. They don't want things covered up, especially when it comes to the most well-known convicted pedophile in modern day history. It's important to them, and they really want the information out.
But Donald Trump says Marjorie Taylor Greene is a radical left lunatic, and everyone she claims is calling her Georgia office, all of them radical left lunatics, and that nothing will be good enough for those Republican radical left lunatics. Donald Trump's silence about Jeffrey Epstein now extends, as it always does, to his complete silence about Jeffrey Epstein's victims. One of them was a high school girl who felt very lucky when she got a job working for Donald Trump at Mar-A-Lago. And that was the worst lucky moment she ever had, because when she was working in the spa as an assistant at Mar-A-Lago, she met Donald Trump's friend, Ghislaine Maxwell, who then lured her to Jeffrey Epstein's Florida home, where she was raped by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell at the same time, the very first time that she was there. Donald Trump has never spoken a word of sympathy for that girl who used to work for him. Donald Trump has never spoken a word of sympathy for that girl whose life was ruined when Jeffrey Epstein's criminal co-conspirator recruiter walked into Donald Trump's spa that day. Ghislaine Maxwell is serving a 20-year prison sentence right now for, among other things, recruiting that girl.
I'm interrupting, but if you liked the video, please don't forget to like it, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you very much.
Sex trafficking that girl. Donald Trump has twice said in interviews, after Ghislaine Maxwell was convicted as Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirator in sex trafficking, that he wishes her well. Quote, "I just wish her well." Donald Trump has said that repeatedly about her. Donald Trump can't think of a negative thing to say about the woman who is in prison tonight because she lured those girls into Jeffrey Epstein's home, onto Jeffrey Epstein's plane, to Jeffrey Epstein's island. Ghislaine Maxwell did not testify in her own defense at her trial. She did not speak a word. Ghislaine Maxwell is appealing her conviction, as every criminal defendant with money always does, but very few of those appeals ever succeed. But if her appeal does not succeed, her only hope of getting out of prison is a pardon from Donald Trump. And Donald Trump has abused the pardon power beyond the wildest dreams of any other president, and certainly beyond the wildest nightmares of the authors of the constitutional power to pardon granted in absolute terms to the president by those framers of the Constitution, who would be horrified to see that Donald Trump used that power to pardon every single person who participated in an insurrection at the Capitol on January 6th to try to overturn the results of a presidential election for Donald Trump.
You have reached the end of the video. Now it's time for my comments. Please excuse any mistakes in my English due to some problems. Thank you for watching. I would be very happy if you like the video and subscribe to the channel.
Trump's silence is actually his loudest statement. Think about it. Once upon a time, cameras were constantly chasing him, but today he remained silent, saying not a word about his connections to Jeffrey Epstein. Is this just a coincidence? Of course not. This man has never been caught in the middle of any event or immediately tried to divert attention by tweeting about it. But this time, things are different. Silence is the fear of a criminal. He chooses not to disclose the Epstein files because what will come to light will reveal who the person Trump called the terrific guy really is, and how Trump managed to stay around him for so long. Turning a blind eye to Epstein's crimes is not just Trump's greatest contradiction, but also the system's. It's not hard to understand why he's not talking about it. He knows what he'll have to face if everything comes out. And then there's Marjorie Taylor Greene. Yes, the very person he calls a radical leftist. Trump might call her a radical leftist lunatic, but she's actually one of his favorites, and she's showing just how persistent he is on this issue. Behind Greene's demands lies something bigger. People want the truth, but whenever Trump is confronted with the truth, he stays silent. Yet people also want to file on Epstein, whom he calls the terrific guy. But what does Trump do? He says even if everything comes out, the radical leftists won't be satisfied. This is the essence of Trump's hypocrisy. The truth always stands against him, but he somehow remains silent because he is afraid that his past will catch up with him once again. Trump's past is filled with such stories. Whenever he is in trouble, he falls silent. Even if everyone tells him he needs to make a statement, he always takes a step back. Let's go back a bit further. Trump embraced the January 6th insurrection and tried to make everyone forget his past mistakes by pardoning the criminals. Now, he is pursuing a pardon for Epstein's accomplices using the same method. What kind of logic is that? Trump has set aside all human values and justice, defending only his own interests. But that's exactly who Trump is. He doesn't want to be held accountable for his mistakes, even for a single day, because he knows that if everything comes to light, what will happen? He'll get into trouble, and he never wants that. Thank you for watching.